Hi, Sophie.
Hi.
Is that right? Yep. Okay, good. Let me close this up. Please stand. This prayer. In nome Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Sancte Michael Arcangelo, defende nos in prayer. Contra nequitiam et insidias diaboli, est oppressium. Impere illudens, supplices te pregam. Tuque, princeps militia celestis, Satanum, aliosque spiritus malignos, huiad perditionem animarum pervegantur in mundo, divina virtute et infernum destructum. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Please take out your practice test, say an answer key. And let's see what we'd like to go over. The test is tomorrow, so anything you want to cover today.
Can we just walk through the whole thing?
Sure.
I mean, we might as well, right? We have enough time.
All right.
Maybe not. Maybe we can start from the end.
Oh, there it is.
I think I like that. I should have less.
Any, number one is pretty much just for memorization. Do you want me to do them in order, or any particular ones you want to do first? Okay. Definitely. 6 is probably going to take the longest. I'll do 5 right away. Everybody tuning in? Practice test should be out. Answer key should be out for your reference. 1 is less than 3x squared. Plus 12x minus 10. All right. In order to graph this, we need to find the vertex. In order to find the vertex, there are 2 possible ways to do that. So to find the vertex, I might as well write this out. Method 1, complete the square. That means you would get it in vertex form. That's one way. If you like to complete the square, go for it. Method number 2. Find the axis of symmetry. And then the vertex will be the axis, comma, plug in the axis. And just for reference, the axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2x. If it's in standard form. If ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If it's not in standard form, don't use this formula. You have to get it in standard form first. So, preference? Method 2, okay. Now I'm going to add the opposite, just to make this negative 10. So x equals what? What's the axis of symmetry? Take this one.
Would be 12 or negative 12
Negative 12
over negative 6.
over, yes, 2 times negative 3. So it's negative 12 over negative 6, making 2. Okay, so here's A, here's B, and here's C. So negative B over 2A.
Yeah.
Might as well circle that or square it. So we use that to find the axis, which is actually the first half of our vertex. So we know the vertex is 2 comma something. How do you find the something? Plug it in. Go for it.
So negative 3, 2
Times 2 squared. Okay.
plus 12 parentheses
So 2 squared is 4.
Oh,
So x1 was before multiply.
oh, yeah, sorry, negative 12,
Good. Negative 12 plus.
44,
Good. Plus
negative 10,
negative 10. These add up to what?
12,
12 plus negative 10?
negative, or sorry, 2.
2. So it turns out the vertex is 2 comma 2. It's not always going to be the same number. It could be 2 comma 3, 2 comma 1. So now that we have the vertex, let me see. Julie Sushant, graph this thing for me. Where do I start?
2 comma
2
2,
comma 2. What kind of a dot?
open,
Open dot. How come?
because it's only asking for what is less than.
Right, it's less than, there's no equal, so you make them open dots. What's the normal parabola pattern for graphing? Over 1,
Up 1,
up 1, over 2,
up 4,
4, over 10, up.
100.
Nice. So what is this doing?
Multiplying it by negative 3,
Correct. So what is it now? Over 1?
down 3.
Good. Down 3. Normally it's over 1 up 1. Don't forget to use open dots on these as well. Normally it's over 1 up 1. This is over 1 down 3. Up and over 2 down what?
6,
Close. What is it normally? Over 2 up
4,
4. Multiply that by negative 3.
12.
12, yeah. So if you go down 12 and you're already up at 2, you get down to negative 10, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 1, 9. So you're down at negative 10. So you're going to have 2 more dots here. Open dot, open dot. What kind of a border? Solid or dotted? Take over, Michael. Solid or dotted border? Dotted. Why? Right, open dots give open lines. So do a dotted parabola. Don't forget to put arrows on it so it goes forever. And there's one last thing to do, Michael. What is it? Shading. How do you supposed to know which way to shade? It could be. If you have a letter by itself, which by the way I think we do. Like, which way would you shade? Down. Y is by itself. By the way, what's the guaranteed way to find out which way to shade? Like, even if there's not a letter by itself. What's the way we usually do? Find out which way to shade.
Interval, or, you take all the points and,
You're working a little too hard. Just pretend, when we used to graph just a dotted line, how do you know if you shade above or below?
you test the point.
Right, you test a point. As long as the point's not on the border, it should be good to go. What's usually pretty easy to test?
0, 0.
0, 0. So, for those of you listening at home, Sophie, you can test 0, 0 if you want, or some random point that's not on the line. But, as long as there's a letter by itself, you can use the shortcuts we covered. So y is less than, y is either up or down, and less than means down for y's. So you're shading down. So what does that look like? Am I shading outside or inside of this problem?
Down, or inside.
Inside, correct. So you shade down below the border, which is just going to be inside the parabola, and you're done. Does that make sense? Alrighty, number 6, everybody's favorite. What would you do to this thing first? Noah?
7.
Second?
7.
Number 6. Number 6.
6.
Yes.
We want to first factor it.
Which part factors most easily?
The bottom one, you put
Yeah.
ECF of x.
Correct. And then what's left?
X squared minus 3.
Victoria minus 3. Okay. Does that factor again?
No.
Not exactly. You're right. But go ahead and leave it as is. How about the top?
For that, you can do synthetic substitution.
Yeah, synthetic division or substitution. That means you have to start guessing. Use logical guesses. Can anybody tell me what numbers all the roots are between? Polly, help me out here. Between what? if we didn't know anything any better, just ignore the bottom. Where are the roots at the top in between
Oh, it's between 9 and -9.
9 and -9? Correct. Now, it's probably going to be a 3, but we don't know that for sure. So you pick a number that you think would be easy.
Let's
Do
do 1.
1? Okay. Tell me what numbers to write down.
3,
Uh-huh.
2,
Yep.
-28,
Uh-huh.
-18,
Uh-huh.
and 9.
Good. Run that for me.
So we have 3,
Uh-huh.
3 again,
Uh-huh.
5,
Uh-huh.
and 5.
Yeah, this is pretty boring. I like that 1.
And then -23,
Okay.
and then -23,
Okay.
and then 41.
Yeah, -41.
And then, -41
Uh,
is 30, 32.
-32. Did that work or no?
No.
No. And it's actually kind of far away. Not horrendous, but fair distance fine. Pick one more number and then we'll have somebody else do the next one.
We'll do
2?
2.
Okay. Let's try it. So 3, 2, -28, -18, 9. Go for it.
So that's 3
Uh,
and 5.
hold on.
Oh, sorry, 6.
6, good.
8,
8,
and then 16, and then
make something. These will fly. What I do is subtract 10 and then subtract 6.
12.
Yeah, -12. Good. Then keep it.
And then -24.
Uh,
And -36. No, 40. Wait, 42.
2, good. Does it look like it's going to work?
No.
No, keep going though. Negative, is that 8 point? Negative something.
75.
75. So question, does that look better or worse? It looks like it's worse. So what would you guess next?
1.
We already did 1.
I said negative.
Oh, -1, I see. Yeah, if you want to backtrack, if you're going to figure it, now, there's no guarantee that number 3 might not actually work. Who knows? It might.
It does.
Because it does, but it looks like it's getting worse, so we can be forgiven for backtracking a little bit and trying something else. So -1? So, tell you what, John, take over. 3, 2, -28, sorry, I'm squishing this, -18, 9, go for it.
3,
3,
-3, -1,
good,
1, -27,
uh,
27, +9, -9, 0.
Congratulations. So we have x equals -1 is one of the solutions. What would I do next? Recommendations? Yeah.
3.
That'd be a logical guess. Why am I hesitating? By the way, that would work. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
me?
Yeah.
Because it's getting higher and higher.
True. That's one thing.
Maybe we can do grouping.
I'm not. Maybe we can do grouping. Maybe. What is this, by the way? 3x to the what?
Right there.
Yeah, it used to be 3x to the 4th, and before we ripped an x out. This is x squared x. Go ahead and try to figure grouping. Julia, go for it.
Okay,
I'm gonna add the opposites. Good for different.
so we pull out 1x squared.
Yeah, x squared. What's left behind that?
Sorry, 3x plus -1.
Good. How about the next one?
We pull out -9.
Good. -9 because it starts negative. What's left behind?
27x.
We'll divide by.
Sorry, 1.
We'll pull out 9. That's okay.
3.
3x plus
1.
almost. You pulled the negative.
-1.
Good. See, everybody see why it's negative? When you pull a negative out, you switch all the signs. You're dividing by a negative. Is this going to work?
Yeah.
Yes, it will. Pull this out in front. What's your final answer here?
1x squared.
Or pull this out in front first.
Oh, okay. 3x plus.
What's -1?
Equals 1x squared. I mean, that equals
What's the leftovers?
It was an X.
X squared.
I said one X squared.
Oh, yeah.
Minus nine.
Minus 9. Take over Noah. Is this factored in?
X squared minus 9 does, because it's
Yeah.
different to 2 squared.
Difference of 2 squares. So it's 3x minus 1 times what?
X plus 3 and X minus 3.
Give me the 3 roots that you get from here.
1/3. X equals
Yeah, x equals positive 1/3. By the way, feel free to do that on paper. You do not have to muscle this through in your head. Especially when people, x is equal to 3. X is equal to negative 1/3. There are a lot of pitfalls there. X equals, go ahead, keep going.
negative 3
Good.
and regular 3.
Yeah, so we've got 4 roots here on top. X equals negative 1, x equals 1/3, x equals negative 3, x equals 3. Those are on top. Those are, by the way, if something is on top, Jack, what are they? If they're nothing but on top, what sort of objects is that called?
Oh, roots.
Roots. What if they're on the bottom?
Vertical asymptote.
Vertical asymptotes. Tell me what the vertical asymptotes are.
Well, you can simplify. Well, it's just x equals 0.
X equals
So that's
0, good.
one. And then you can simplify x squared minus 3 by putting it equal to 0.
Okay. Is there a product property?
Adding 3 to both sides,
Okay. X squared equals 3.
then square rooting both sides.
And getting what?
X is equal to negative square root of 3 and
Oh.
positive square root.
Bingo. What 3 objects are these that came from the bottom?
Vertical asymptote.
Those are vertical asymptotes. So vertical asymptotes at x equals 0, x equals radical 3, x equals negative radical 3. Okay, so we've got 4 roots, 3 vertical asymptotes. Are there any holes? One in.
Because there's nothing the same on the top and the bottom.
Correct, there's nothing that canceled on top and bottom. So let's do this thing. How do you actually solve this thing? Michael, take over.
Well, plug in all the points on the top and bottom.
How so?
Like,
What do you do with them?
C's, X, minus.
Well, kinda, sorta. What?
Or you can just, take.
And I wanna find out,
Number line.
yeah, this is, what's that called? Something notation. Not interval notation.
Scientific? No, I don't know.
No good guess, but,
I seriously can't remember.
okay, I stink at Pictionary, but. Slash this way.
And subtract.
Oh, plus or minus.
Plus minus notation, correct. So I want to list all of the breakpoints on a number line. So, Julie Sichon, take over. From left to right, here's your pool of thingies. List all the breakpoints. What's the smallest negative? Well, the most negative.
Negative 3.
Negative 3, good. What kind of a thingy is that?
A root.
Root. So how do I mark it?
Solid knot.
Good. What's the next one? It's a little hard to see.
Negative radical 3.
Negative radical 3, it's like negative 1.7 something. So, and by the way, you don't have to space these artistically. What kind of a thingy is that?
Vertical asymptote.
How do you mark that?
Dotted line.
Right. Little dotted line. Keep going.
Negative 1 is a root.
Good. Negative 1 is a root. Solid dot. Keep going.
Radical 3.
There would, there's something right before that.
0.
0. Good. What is that?
Asymptote.
Good. Vertical asymptote. Take over Polly. What's after 0? We're going from left to right. We covered negative radical 3, negative 3, negative 1, and 0. Correct? 1/3, correct. And what sort of object is that?
And then,
That's a root or vertical asymptote.
root.
Root, it's a solid dot, okay? Keep going.
And then you have 3.
Let me see, 3. correct. Actually, there's one thing before that.
So that's that.
Radical 3, that's like 1.7 something. What is that?
Oh, that's vertical.
Vertical asymptotic. And finally,
And then you have 3.
3 is, okay. So what do you do with that mass?
We'll do your plan.
Yeah. Yeah, pick any approximately. Where would you like to plug in? You don't have to test every region, as long as you know what makes sign switch. Pick your favorite number then. Can we use 0, by the way?
No.
Unfortunately, no, they used it. So what would you?
We can play in 1.
1. Let me label these regions. You don't have to label them on your work, by the way. This is just for my easy reference. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Where is 1? What region is it? Yeah.
So, I have a question on the answer key, because on the answer key, we have stuff like, square root of 3, comma, infinity, but how is that possible because we have a breakpoint at 3?
I think
I
you
think it,
just maybe made a typo there.
yeah.
Yes.
So is it supposed to, it's supposed to be 3,
I think it's supposed to be
right?
regular 3.
Yeah.
Let me double check that, because, yeah, I'm famous for typos in my answer keys. I'm almost glad I did that, I would have lost my reputation. So,
I assumed it was just typo, but
which region is x equals 1 in? Oh,
No, sorry.
it's an n, correct. It's bigger than 1/3 but less than radical 3. So x equals 1, and then y equals, now, it's up to you whether you want to plug it in straight away or not. Can somebody give me the parentheses that belong in the top? Look at your worksheet and see what, is there a high multiplier by the way? On the top? A 3. Put that in front. Then look at the roots and tell me what parentheses they came from. Fill in with
3x minus 1.
Ooh, that's actually kind of clever. 3x minus 1 is true. If you pull the 3 out, this is from x minus 1/3. That would have worked, by the way. If you distribute this, you get 3x minus 1. What's the next one?
X plus 3.
X plus 3?
And then
That'd cover x equals negative 3.
x minus 3.
X minus 3 would cover the positive 3. And one more.
Would it be x plus, or x minus 1?
That would be x minus 1 would give you positive.
Oh, x plus 1.
Good, x plus 1. Good. So on the bottom, you can do x squared minus 3, and here we got the 4 parentheses. Just remember the 3 is going to be positive no matter what. And 4 parentheses, and then we'll have 2 parentheses in the bottom. All we need to find out is if the region is positive or negative. You don't even need to factor it in order to do this. You can plug it into the original formula. It's a little more annoying because there are a bunch of big numbers in there, but it's not too bad. So Noah, take over. Is that region? What would go here? I'm watching here, 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 here.
So that would be positive,
Yeah, plug in a 1 there. 1 minus 1/3 is still positive.
and another positive,
1 plus 3 is positive.
and then a negative,
Yeah, 1 minus 3 is negative.
and then a positive.
1 plus 1 is positive. How about the bottom?
The bottom is,
Here's the first thing.
that's positive.
Positive is just 1.
And then the negative.
Yeah, 1 squared is 1, minus 3 is negative 2, that's negative. So, and 3 is positive. So what's your final verdict on this?
Positive.
Positive. There are only 2 negatives in here and they cancel each other out. So this region is positive. And while we're at it, what's this region?
Negative.
Negative. Are there any double roots in here?
No.
No. Any double asymptotes? No. Just fill them in. What is this?
Positive,
Keep going.
negative,
Huh?
positive, negative, positive, negative.
Good. Watch for double roots. Watch for holes. Those can kind of trip you up. But, ta-da, And to finish off the problem, B. What are we looking for?
So you're looking for anything less than or equal to 0?
What kind of region would make that happy?
Negatives.
Negatives. Name them. X belongs to what?
X belongs to negative infinity and negative 3.
To negative 3. Including negative infinity or not?
No.
Okay. Including negative 3?
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Why?
Oh, because you want it.
Because you want it and it's
It's less than or equal to.
correct. And why didn't, they wanted the endpoints. Why didn't you give them negative infinity?
Can't catch it.
Can't catch it. Keep going.
And you get X belongs to radical, or negative radical 3.
Okay. Up to what?
And then negative 1.
Negative 1. What kind of bracket on negative radical 3?
Round.
Round. How about on negative 1?
Square.
Good. Why round on negative radical 3? Right. Even if they're asking for it, which they are, don't give it to them because it'll kill them. Be a good parent. Negative 1, why did you give it to them?
It's a root.
It's a roost. Perfectly safe. Here, Junior, have a carrot. Keep going.
And you get X belongs to 0
Okay.
and 1/3.
0 and 1/3. What kind of brackets?
All round and then square.
Good. And then one last?
And then X belongs to radical 3 and 3.
Oh, there's the typo. Okay, so radical 3 is
Round.
round? Square? Why did I do that?
Square.
3 is square. Okay, yes.
You
So-
had a square bracket too.
Oh, for the love of all that's holy. All right, fine.
You caught infinity.
I caught it. Wow. Yeah, that should have given away that I was a typo maniac there. So yeah, please change that last thing on the entropy. The first one looks okay, second one looks okay, third is okay, yeah, the fourth one is lame. It should be, radical 3, round bracket, to 3 square bracket, not infinity. I need to fix that. But okay. Next. How did you do on the corner meat problem? But if you're on semi, I went out of my way to make sure that the intersection was not gross. Every once in a while it comes up like 100 divided by 7 or something like that. So, and I made sure that the real test, the solution is not gross either, so you're welcome.
This one is still,
Good. Questions? I can go over any of these you like. We've got 20 minutes to cover everything you see.
Yes, you should be on what's wrong one? The game show, displaying the prizes.
Yeah. And over here, behind curtain number 3, we have lovely chapter 3 practice test. Okay, good. Okay, that was fun. So I'm sorry, what? Number what?
Number 3.
Number 3.
I don't understand why it was funny, but I mean,
The boo was just perfectly timed. So does everybody have this part? And people listening at home, you can just rewind. All right. Number 3 looks like this. I did note, do not distribute over absolute values. That's a no-no. There are ways to distribute over absolute value, but it's very tricky. So don't do it. 8 absolute value of 8 plus 2x plus 4 less than or equal to 1/16. Not only is it tricky and somewhat dangerous to distribute over absolute values, it's not necessary. Tell me what to do first. Oh, math people. John, take this one. What would you do first?
well,
I want to ask myself.
I first divided by 8.
You could.
Oh, no, sorry, I subtracted 4 first.
Yes, that would be the easiest.
And then I divided by 8.
Okay. Did everybody see why we're subtracting 4 first? That's farthest away from the x. The 8, like, the thing that's closest to the x is 2, then the 8, then the absolute value, then the other 8, then the 4. The 4 is farthest away, so get rid of that first. Bam. 8 absolute value of 8 plus 2x, less than or equal to what?
Me?
Yeah, go. 112. Do another step for me.
So then I divide it by 8,
Okay.
and you get absolute value of 8 plus 2x is less than or equal to 14.
Yes, 14. So, Polly, take over.
So then you're, what is on the absolute value?
How do you take out the absolute value?
And by splitting,
Splitting it. That's the only way to take out the absolute value. Go ahead. What do you put?
and then your positive side is 8 plus 2x is less than or equal to 14.
Less than or equal to 14.
And then negative side is 8 plus 2x is greater than or equal to negative 14.
8 plus 2x is greater than or equal to negative 14. Correct. Don't change the stuff inside. So, keep going.
And then subtract 8.
What do you
2x
got?
is less than.
By the way, is subtraction flip the sign?
No,
No. So 2x is,
less than or equal to 6.
good, keep going.
And then x is 3.
Yeah. Does dividing by 2 flip the sign?
No.
No, it's not negative. So x is less than or equal to 3. Good, I'll keep that for now. And go ahead and do the other one already.
And then subtract 8.
Good. Does that flip the sign?
No.
No. 2x is? Right.
Greater than or equal to 22. Wait, 20. Negative.
Negative 22, because 2 negatives join. Keep going,
And then divide by 2.
which doesn't flip the sign. Keep going.
And then x is greater than or equal to negative 11.
Good. Now, Michael, graph it on a number line.
Okay. So, oh, 11, negative 11, 3.
Okay. And 3.
And
What kind of
you
dots?
Shade everything, oh, solid.
Solid dots. And then what?
You just shade everything between them.
In between. It says to the right of negative 11, to the left of 3, click, they join, we're done. Questions? Does that make sense? Do you feeling okay on that? By the way, you don't have to write it as a triple inequality with it, the way the answer key did, but you're welcome to. You can write it as 2 separate ones, I'm totally fine with that. Okay. Next. Everybody okay, number 4? Graphing standard formal line, dotted. Test a point, run toward the truth, run away from falsehood. Any others you want to see?
Yeah, let's do number. I don't know.
Can we do the long one, the?
2?
We did number 2. What's that?
Can we do the, like, the long one?
According
Which one?
The corner view one, sorry.
Oh, this is, oh, sure. Maybe I'll squeeze it in. Yeah. Take a look at number 2. Got negative 6, parentheses, 7n minus 8, is greater than or equal to negative 2, parentheses, negative 6 minus n, minus 8n. Now, this, you are welcome to distribute. Just don't distribute over absolute value signs. Again, is it possible to distribute an absolute value sign? Yes, but it's tricky. And it's fraught with danger. Parentheses, good old fashioned, go ahead and distribute. I would do that first. Simplify before you solve. So, Julie, take over.
negative 42n
Okay,
plus 48
good.
is greater than or equal to.
Right, the only time this will switch is if you're doing stuff to both sides. Go ahead.
12
Uh-huh.
minus negative, or plus 2n.
Good, plus 2n. Wow.
That did not sound like a human. It sounded like one of the animals got together. Okay, and reasons do animals got that.
Anything else you combine or anything?
2n plus -8.
Good, is what?
-6n.
Good. Negative 42n plus 48 greater than or equal to 12 plus negative 6n. Okay, keep going. What's the cure for variables on both sides? Shooting cows, which really means what? By the way, please know the non-weird metaphor version of this for when you go to college.
We did a college, we're gonna college shooting cows.
Be prepared for a lot of strange looks. I speak from experience. So, good. Pick a cow, shoot, and start blasting away. Go.
Add 6n to both
Sure,
sides.
add 6n to both sides. Go for it.
36n.
Almost.
-36.
Negative 36n plus
48.
48 is
Greater than or equal to 12.
12. Keep going. 2 more steps should do it.
Add 48.
Add
Minus 48.
minus 48. Okay. What's 12 minus 48? 36, almost. Negative 36. You still with me? Steve, take over.
So then you divide by negative 36.
Yep. Does that flip the sign?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. That's the key. N is
So it'd be, n is less than or equal to 1.
correct. Graph that on a number line.
So you just go to just 1,
1. What kind of a dot?
solid.
Solid?
And then you would shade or drawing out to the left.
To the left. Correct. Which is shaded, basically. Questions? Alrighty. That's number 2. And you had a request for the corner meat problem? Okay, I will kind of turbo that. On number 7, is everybody okay with how to find the planting and harvesting formulas? Okay. What? So you're okay with that or no? You want to go through?
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. So number 7, planting. We need some variables. To start a corner meat problem at all, gentlemen. We've done this before. In order to start this problem, we need variables. What do X and Y stand for? Jack?
The tons of corn and tons of wheat.
Correct. So Michael, if X stands for number of tons of corn, how long does it take to plant 1 ton of corn according to the sheet?
4 hours.
4 hours. How about 10 tons?
40.
40. How do you get that?
Multiply by 40.
Right. So how about an unknown number like X? How long will it take to plant your corn?
4x.
Yeah, that's where the 4x comes from. So 4x is how long it takes to plant the corn. How long does it take to plant the wheat?
2.
2, and then times what?
Y.
Times y, the amount of wheat. That's where the 4x plus 2y comes from. Is there a limit on how much planting time you have?
240.
Right. Is that a max or min?
Max.
Maximum. That means you can't go over it, but you could go below it. What math symbol is that?
Less than or equal to.
Right. That's where we get 4x plus 2y less than or equal to 240. Do the exact same things with harvesting. It should be 2x plus 5y less than or equal to 320. Because that's the limit on harvesting. You get that? Logical limits are pretty much what are the values of x and y that are possible. Basically anything that's not negative, greater than or equal to 0. That's going to be true like 99% of these problems. The logical limits will be x is greater than or equal to 0, y is greater than or equal to 0. The profit formula is the only one that doesn't have a limit. It's equal to 70x plus 80y, $70 per ton corn, $80 per ton wheat. You okay with that? Now, in order to solve this, number 8, you have to graph all of the graphable formulas. The only one that's not graphable is the profit. Do not graph that. To graph planting and harvesting, you'll need to use Chubby Hand method, or if you like the find the slope with negative over b find the y-intercept at C over B, that's fine. But one way or another, graph standard form. You should get, for planting, there should be an x-intercept of 60, a y-intercept of 120. And then connect them with a solid line. And that shades towards 0, 0. Does that make sense, everybody? Let me know if there's anything that sounded Greek to you there. I'll try and translate. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. Harvesting. Again, use the chubby hand method. The x-intercept should be 160. And then the y-intercept should be 64. 5y equals 320 solves to y equals 64. So the other ones are just x is greater than or equal to 0, shade to the right of 0. And y is greater than or equal to 0, shade up from 0. There should be this sort of diamond-shaped shaded region. By the way, if you do not shade your final region, I will take off points. If you leave it blank, if it's just a gaping thing under there without any shading, fill it in right now so your hand has practice in shading. Otherwise, you will lose at least 3 out of 10. This is a good way to get 3 points back, by the way. How many points, how many vertices does that solution region have? John?
4,
4. Name the 3 easy ones.
0, 0,
Yep.
6, 0, 60, 0, sorry,
Uh-huh.
0, 64, 35,
Correct.
50, sorry,
And then what's the last one?
35, 50,
3550. How do you get that mystery point?
by, doing, elimination with the 2.
Right, which 2?
The 64, sorry, wrong one.
Which 2 equations do you do elimination of?
The 4x plus 2y, equals 240,
Yeah.
and the 4x, sorry, that's my fixed one. And then the 2x plus 5y
Equals 320. In other words, take the line for planting, the line for harvesting, solve them. You can do elimination, substitution, Kramer's rule, whatever you like. Find where they intersect. And it should be, it was, what was it, 35, 50, was it?
Yeah.
Yes. So you should have 4 vertices, 0, 0, 60, 0, 0, 64, and 35, 50. How do you finish the problem? 8. You have the 4 vertices, what do you do with them?
See plug all of them in and see which one will fit since they've got equal versus amount.
The greatest amount of what?
Various profit.
Profit, correct. So find the profit formula from your previous 70x plus 80y and plug in all of the vertices. 0, 0 should give you 0 profit, which, duh, you know, that means you stay home and take a nap, you don't get any money. 60, 0 should give $4,200. 0, 64 should give you $5,120, which is better. And then 3550 should give you $6,450, which is the best. So translate that, 35 tons of corn, 50 tons of wheat. Make sense? Did we get number 11?
Yeah.
How do you do that? What did you get as a final answer?
I just did like all like x belongs to negative things from infinity.
Okay. How did you come to that conclusion? What results did you actually show up with on your paper?
Oh, so like x
Huh?
is less than or equal to x. And
You got x is less than or equal to x?
Mhm.
Ah, interesting. If you distribute all of that and you get, I'll turbo this. -3, 1 minus 5x. This is extra card number 1. Is that the only extra card? No, there are 2 of them. Okay. Plus 8, less than or equal to 5, parentheses 1 plus 3x. So I'm going to distribute -3 plus 15x plus 8 equals, less than or equal to, 5 plus 15x. Now I'm going to combine these, and I get 15x plus 5 less than or equal to 15x plus 5. I'm going to shoot some cows, and I get 5 is less than or equal to 5. Tell me. First of all, that's strange because all my variables died. That's awkward. But is 5 less than or equal to 5?
Yeah.
How often?
All
All the time. Guess how often we have a solution?
the time.
X is all real numbers. What if I had come up with 5 is less than or equal to 3? That's not true. How often is it true? Never. So what solution would you put? No solution. Correct. Last page. It's a little complicated. People just want to do the reciprocal of both sides, which sort of kind of works, but it only gives you half of your solutions. And I do say no credit for incomplete solutions. There is another breakpoint. There is a vertical asymptote that equals 4. So,
12 is extra credit?
12 is extra credit, correct. Anybody need any help on number 12? I got like a minute left. But I would say get a common denominator. Pretend you're adding them if you're not. But, so you subtract one side over, get a common denominator. Put it all in one lump. Because we're for plus minus notation, you need one top of the fraction, one bottom of the fraction. Then find the roots, find the vertical asymptotes. Do plus minus notation, you should get 2 breakpoints. Root at x equals 13, and a vertical asymptote at x equals 4. Run plus minus notation, and there should be 2 solutions at work. Okay? Wow. Couldn't time that. Well, sure, that's right. So, scoot your desk back to proper spots. And, please stand. The test tomorrow, if you like. Have a good night's sleep. And then we call the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Ready?
Can we end the video? Bye, Sophie.
Yes, thank you very much.